does it benefit? Current course and speed right now, this bill is about traditional Republicans and traditional Democrats circling the wagons and putting on a platter a set of things that I think will be hurtful to average Americans. You're going to see energy prices spike. You're gutting the number of electrons that will be available for things like AI. You're going to increase Medicare prices. And the math is wrong. So when you sensitize this thing to a 4.5 or 5 or 5.25 rate, so meaning not what the CBO used, but the real conditions on the ground, this thing is an albatross. And I think, unfortunately, for President Trump's agenda and for a MAGA movement, this is the worst of all conditions. The financial markets will punish this. And then the last thing I'll say is now, to top it all off, I think that Jerome Powell will see the writing on the wall. Many aspects of this thing are inflationary. And if they're not handled well by the Senate, he has a lot of room to actually increase interest rates.
Oof.
So I would just say that the Senate has an incredibly difficult job. I think the president has an even more difficult job about what to do right now, but the House did nobody favors. They did not do anybody a favor.
So Emma, I listened to this whole section of this podcast, and even David Sachs wasn't like, oh, this is great and it's amazing. He was like, well, here's the pluses, but also you have to remember, like, you're working with, the Democrats aren't going to do anything for you. And you're working with this very difficult caucus and, this is the best we can get. And you've got to try to see the upside. So none of them was like outright selling it. And let me play you this one other one. I think this is Jason Calacanis, who kind of calls out the other three co-hosts and is like, you all are pretending like it's the Republicans' fault or it's the Congress's fault or whatever. Like, if Trump wanted this bill to be a different bill, he could make it a different bill. So let's take a listen to that.
This president acts unilaterally all the time, whether it's immigration, DEI. He has no problem. And this is what he is doing. He's endorsing this bill. He's saying it's big, it's beautiful. He is saying this is historic. I think this is bad leadership. I'll just say it straight out. He was elected to balance this budget and to have austerity. He's going to put more onto the debt. And we sat here on this very podcast, the four of us, and said this was the most important issue on the world. And Trump is putting gasoline on the fire. I think it's bad leadership. Let's continue on the docket.
I suggest you look at the Constitution because the power of the purse rests with Congress.
He's endorsing this. He's endorsing it, Sachs. He's not even putting up a fight.
When it comes to immigration and these other areas, the president has far more unilateral power, and he's used that every chance he gets. But when it comes to spending, you have to get Congress on board. This is a bill that passed with a 1-vote margin. I don't know where you think the opportunity is to squeeze out more concessions from Congress. I don't think it's there.
He could speak up. He could speak up and say, do better. He's doing the opposite. He's doing the opposite.
This bill passed by a 1-vote margin. It was hanging on by a thread. And if it failed, you get basically hundreds of billions of tax increases, which we don't need right now.
He's not even trying.
In terms of, I think he's trying.